the market right now. We're just in this like weird grind. So we've been up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a row. I mean, that's incredible in so many different levels. So what can we really do? We're just really grinding it higher. We do have to be really aware of some kind of rug pull here. I mean, when I say rug pull, like it's not really like the end of the world rug pull, but like some type of back and fill in here. I mean, you're 10 points from your 9 EMA on the QQQs. You have 9 days in a row. We can keep grinding higher, but if you really look at like instances of, has there been, how many times we ever go up like 10, 15 days in a row? It's a rare occurrence. So I do expect some type of, consolidation or some backing and filling at some point, but it probably won't happen until we speed up. Like you can see here, we're just going up pretty orderly right now. So it's not really we need that kind of like that one big speed up to kind of get it yanked for a couple days. And we'll get there at some point. Now, the part of the fuel is you got a big breakout on the IWM, a confirmed breakout really at this point. If it can come back on the first pull, how you know if a trend is starting or if it's confirmed breakout, right? You always want to look for the throwback. So after you get a thrust, like what's the throwback? Does it actually hold? If you get something that holds here, then we know, okay, this is like an end of year gorilla rampage in the IWM and the small caps in general. Now, a lot of times people think IWM is the small cap index. It's not necessarily. It's more of a broad-based index of small caps and mid caps. But you can look at the IWC, which is more of a micro cap, small cap ETF to get a gauge of really, right? Because like a lot of times when people think small caps, they're thinking like $2, $3 stocks, but that's not necessarily the case. You could have a $60 stock and it's still a small cap, but these micro caps is probably, this is like, if you're really going to have that kind of end of year pizza party, then this is what really needs to break out here, so that's something I'll be keeping an eye on. And then of course, we are due. You've had 3 just monster days here. And a little bit of a throwback would really do well, especially like you need to retest breakout spots to really confirm them anyways. So if we can get something like that, that'll be good. And then I think it's kind of in all systems as go at that point into the year end, but it never really works out that way. Let's take a look at the earnings plays and then let's dig into the earnings plays and then let's build out our list here. There's all sorts of stocks that are popping and dropping. There's really nothing. This is EVEX. This is today's crack cocaine in the market. All these kind of SPACs, IPOs are just busting loose on these PRs. There's probably going to be some range on this. I mean, my interest in chasing this up 200% is zero. It is zero. And I'll tell you the reason why. We were watching this like OLB the other day. And it was fucking knife city. And when I start seeing knife cities, unlike some of these gappers that are going up so much, right? When you start to see the knives, you usually got to put a hold on, the speculation for a couple of days. But in general, this is probably something that's going to be in play. But if we tried something like this, you really need a pullback on it, see what's going down. NPT, and this looks like a buyout. Hey, so this SSYS, this said earnings out. This is a 3D printing kind of thing. You've got a big base breakout setting up over here. Now it does trade a little bit thin. You can see it only has got 73,000 shares of volume so far in the pre-market, but that should firm up by the time the market opens in general. I would add this to the list. Like, we don't want to chase this thing up 20%, but this is like a big time stock. First of all, stock has a history of making moves. Like if you look back in the day, this is, when our chat room was really first getting started, this thing had this epic move for a couple of years. And then just recently, in the beginning of the year, it got to 60. We've based out now. Earnings stocks, earnings breakouts, anything where, earnings related, if you have a big base and you've got the right kind of share structure to go, these things can get juicy. Now we get on this one, like I wouldn't just go knee deep in this. I think that's something we need to keep an eye on. Frankly, if this goes, then we can play the triple D's. The triple D's has got the triple. Oh, nice little morning shred for you, Marina. That's cool. There's nothing like waking up, right, to like a nice morning shredder. That's awesome. So I think we add the double D's, triple D's to this also. It'll have more liquidity for us most likely. That'll have more liquidity for us most likely. So that's something to keep an eye on. I like them both. I think this is probably, and you know what? We had like a little bit of, we've had a couple rest days. I would almost consider this an inside day yesterday because it only popped up for a candle and then it just faded off. So this is probably just like one or two buyers anyway sometimes. We're coming out of that range. This is going to be a heater. Let's add this to the list. I think both of these are probably top of the list for us. These are like a sweet spot, especially when the IWM starts to cook. This is a good sweet spot in price. Like these kind of stocks, you'll start to see the triple Ds, the Fubos, those kind of $20, $30, $40 stocks. They'll start to pick up some steam and get going. So I do like this. Let's add that to the list. BTTX, it looks like this is what we would call like a sucker's gap. What I mean by that is like this thing collapsed, right? And then now you're like kind of gapping this thing up. And it's a sucker's gap, like, probably somebody that's holding this thing, somebody that's working there, whatever, has got to unload some shares here. And then you'll see this thing fade back off. I mean, that's probably a candidate for a red roll. Qualcomm, whoa. The Qualcomm, damn. Hey, this is an earnings breakout too. You got some upgrades on this thing. If you get earnings breakout and upgrades, it can be good. Qualcomm's a thick little bastard. This is a nice breakout. There's no getting around it. To me, this is more like a swing trade stock. It's got a 1 billion share flow. It can go, like you can see, it's already trending. So that's not bad. But it'll be a trender grinder. So what I mean by trender grinders, you have certain stocks that you play, right, that just like can rip like $1 or $2 or $3 like in a few minutes, right? Like your DWACs and stuff like that. But those are also the most stressful types of stocks too, right? Because you lose your dignity as soon as it gets knifed. This will be more like if it sets up intraday, it'll be a trender grinder, meaning it'll start to just, but there's nothing wrong with that because you get a trender grinder, you can just have a little bit more size. You can use a stop loss and you just kind of let these things roll. That's not too bad. BGFV, Big Five Sporting Goods. Welcome to West Texas. My name is Chad, and welcome to Big Five Sporting Goods. Here we have elite athletic apparel for lacrosse players, and of course, football, where God is king. Man, this is nice. You got welcome to Big Five Sporting Goods. Just for that alone, I'd trade this. You have big volume on this thing yesterday, huh? That's an earnings breakout. If I've seen one, add it. Next. This is a little bit of a cold stock. It doesn't have good liquidity. It's just moving on gaps past. Boulder. Yo, there's a lot of earnings plays today, folks. I think Boulder's a heater too. My one issue with the Boulder is going to be that it's a home builder. But like that's a beast. Like when you have stocks, right? This is the right sector, the right time. It's only 100 million share flow. Fuck, man. I had so much of this shit for a swing trade too, and I sold it. Ain't that some fucking shit? That's not bad. Like if this is got to have the liquidity on it, it's only 75,000 shares in volume. We'll add that. Hims, the boner pills. Oh, a little boner life. Base breakout. I think their earnings are in like 4 or 5 days. Let me see. Anybody seen that? Make sure it's got news out. Sometimes the problem with these little thin ones, so, if they don't have anything out, then it ends up being like some pump and dump kind of scenario. But boner pills is a big deal. They got some Rogaines. They got some boner pills. They got really nice commercials. I mean, it almost makes you think like, hey, I could grow my hair back. Man, that's a nice base breakout here. This may pick up some steam. This may pick up some steam. You know, this is going to be, it's only about $2 billion company. I mean, when you get a company like that, like you can, dude, you can come in on the shred on something like this. Let's add that to the list. And we're going to narrow all this down because some of these are going to be low volume. Vistaprint. Oh no, Vista Outdoors. See, like this is also a breakout. What we need to be doing is like, I'll set some volume. I don't know if these are like 6 windows worthy. What I mean by this, we don't know what kind of liquidity they have on them. If they shoot off like 500,000 shares at the open, you know, say the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes, then it'll be fine to play and you can look for pullbacks or flags or something like that. If it doesn't come in the first 30, then just start dicing them off your list. Like just take them all off because you just can only watch so many, you know, at some point. These are all bad charts. Jump. Triple D's we got. Yo, so this FSLY earnings, tech stock, former big mover. The issue, the big hairy Indian butt of this is that it's stuck under the 200 SMA and it's already fading off. So this is like tricky. Like, so when you have like a stock that's got earnings out and it looks like, right, you've got some boosting of price targets, that's always good, but you're under this resistance. And so what happens is right, resistance resists. And till it gets basically over this, like there's nothing you can really do on it. It frankly could just roll over and go red on this thing. That's the nature of the game on these. So you got to be super careful. I don't know. See, we've had a history of making money on this thing. We've always shredded this thing, but it's been a dud for, right, like really months and months and months at this point. I'll set an alert here at the 200 SMA. So like, right, you just go in, set alert, right? If it gets over the 200 SMA, so what you really want to be doing is, right, crossing up over. Set an alert, right? Now you got yourself, like if it gets over it, then you're good. You can come in and start looking at it and start making trades. What happens is like when your watch list gets this big, you got to use alerts and some type of organization system to keep track of things. Otherwise, like you'll have like all these gappers and shit. And like next thing you know, right, you're just dead in the water because there's just too many names. So just something to be mindful of, like as you're going through this. See, this is a nice trend line break over here. I wouldn't be surprised like to see the EV companies still go because like the Lucid is looking good right now. The Lucid's looking good right now. You know, Tesla is still holding up for the most part. It's in this, Tesla's like one of those weird companies. I've seen this happen a few times on it. When it starts to grind, I don't know, it just starts to just keep grinding higher and higher. And you'll think it's every day it's going to pull and they'll just do it like when you like least expect it. So there's not really much to do. But so as this is going and Lucid's going, you know, you're going to see a little bit of a run in the rest of these EV companies, you know, like this Nikola, FSRs, you know, kind of coming out of range here. We'll truly know if the EV run is real when fucking Excel moves. That's right. That's the cream of the crap right there. If Excel ever moves, now you know. Hey, Roland, you know, I'm not a big fan of the AMC. It trades like shit. It rolled over its whole gap yesterday. Like that's, when you got something like that, it don't even matter. Hey, Mr. Fry, by the way, you know, you have access to our Discord room and chat room. You know, you don't got to be hanging out. You can come in anytime. Lord might be the worst of the EVs. Skills had earnings out. So let's talk about the regular plays. Let me just go into this though. TTWO had earnings out too, I believe. This has got a nice break and this should have good range. This is probably a little bit more our speed in terms of, you know, what kind of earnings stock we play because it's a tech stock. It's going to have some good, it's going to just have some good juice on it. So that's probably good for the 6 windows layout. Now on the downside, fucking mRNA had its earnings down. You've got a level here, guys. So I think Pets was going because of that bird stock yesterday. Because, Pets, bird, fucking America, baby. Back to mRNA. I'll go over that Pets in a sec. mRNA's got a level here. Dude, we could fucking come in hot on this thing. The margin stinks on this, as you guys know, meaning like, your broker, well, not at Amerislut, but everywhere else it stinks. That could be something. Add it for now. Man, if it busts under this level, I think they'll turn the algos on this thing real fast. And, next thing you know, like you're going to get a $10 shred on this. I like. Upworld, jump. Ooh, see this? If we need some shorts, like even something like that's not bad. OCG and turn. mRNA is our flavor, though. Oh, see MGNI? If this has any liquidity in it, you've got a huge level here that could just drop off like real fast. Real fast. Man, that's not so bad. I'm adding it. Junk, QRVO. This stock sucks to trade. Man, there's all sorts of movers around today. SPWR. This swings to fiscal 3 gain as revenues rise. Sees annual size missing prior guidance. How can you even miss guidance in today's day? Don't even make any sense. But you see how, like I said, on the 200 SMA, you're also like a little bit too far. Probably leave that alone. Skills too. Like, see when they gap down, but they're like into supports. That's not really going to do anything. Roku, huh? Whoa. Oh, Mr. Fry, are you double dipping? Hey, this Roku, big level here. Big level. I mean, that's essentially like a monster cock, head and shoulders pattern. That, my friends, is probably with mRNA. That's going to be a good one. Let's add that to the 6 windows layouts. Fuck. The bird. The bird is the word. I'm not really sure on the bird. Man, that's hot. Add it. Bird, that was IPO stock yesterday. Man, it was trading really weird. Probably leave it alone. CLR. Yo, so this is when you have this many movers, this is what we need to do. We'll narrow this list down. I want you about 20, 30 minutes into the market. Start running your liquid gainer scans, your top loser scans. See like what else is kind of moving around. And we may have to just come in and like get hot on some of these things. Damn, there's like a million of. All right, let's add a couple inside day stocks. What I mean by inside day stocks, inside day plays have been working very well in this market. If you have a pop, 1 inside, 2 inside days, and a go like OSTK, right? We double dip monster shred the last 2 days on that. Pop, inside day, go. Pop, inside day, go. So you see here with bingo, you had the pop, inside day. Now you're testing that resistance. That's a candidate for inside day. What else? Did anybody run the scan? Good. Vuzi had 2 inside days. So you had pop, inside day. That's a buenos. Let's add that to the list too. Good. Hey, Mr. Fry, what's going on? Add Lucid to the list. As you know, like you're getting into this kind of trend line break over here. I think it should start to set up here. As long as Tesla's holding, it's good. Alec, I would be looking for some type of ORB pattern. So most likely ORB, maybe a quick pullback buy pattern, but that would be for a short. All right, I think we leave the rest of these alone. Let's go back through these earnings plays one more time to see if there's just anything that has to be absolute priority. I think TTWO looks fine. If it's got liquidity, FSLY, no, mRNA, prime time. HIMS, Vista, BLDR, man, this BLDR can go. I don't know what the liquidity is going to be like, but we definitely need to keep it on the list. Not 6 windows layout worthy, right? Because you always want to narrow your stocks down to 6, 12 if you can handle it. I'll watch the rest of these for us. Don't you worry. All right, so we got Roku. Out of the earnings plays, TTWO, mRNA, Roku are the 3 focus. Add Affirm to the list, put an alert. As it starts to approach this kind of 165, it should start to reshred on it. Tech has been hot. The Qs are going. We ready to shred on this thing. Any kind of weakness on this, we want to try to scoop this bad boy up. Guys, there's a lot of, when the market gets hot like this, it's very, very easy to lose track of things. It's easy to overtrade. It's easy to screw up. I mean, it's easy to do a lot of stuff. Narrow down your lists and then, run a scan about half an hour into the market to see what else is moving around. That's usually the best way to do it. So what I will do is, say I've got 30 symbols flagged. You can run conditions and scans inside your own watch list. So if they start to show conditions like, hey, I'm getting close to the high of day, I have a volume thrust, I'm breaking over moving average, price alerts, trend line alerts, then you'll start getting pinged and then you can go and focus on them. That way you don't have them on your immediate watch list. That's for stocks that are ready to shred now. Like you're looking for stocks that are DTF, and then things that are could be DTF, you just put the alerts on. Does that make sense? Good. That's the list. I'm sticking to it. Let's make a quick day out of this. Let's have some fun. Let's go do what we do, which is the do. Let's get this music.